One day you're complaining about the boss over drinks. The next day, you are the boss. And trying to stay one of the team after that promotion is the fastest way to lose everyone's respect. Welcome back to Speaking with Confidence, a podcast that helps you build the soft skills that lead to real results. Communication, storytelling, public speaking, and showing up with confidence in every conversation that counts. I'm Tim Newmana, a recovering college professor turned communication coach, and I'm thrilled to guide you on your journey to becoming a powerful communicator. All right, let's talk about what actually happens at the moment the promotion hits. You're sitting in a meeting and your name gets announced as the new team lead. The room does the polite clap thing. You smile because you're supposed to, but you're also thinking about doing the bull dance, but please don't. You're also already thinking about the group chat. You're wondering which peer also applied for this job and now has to report to you. You're remembering every single time you complained about management together, and you're praying nobody else remembers it too. I've watched new managers crash and burn in ticket sales offices, classrooms, and in corporate teams, and they all make the exact same mistake. So today, I'm handing you a framework for building real authority without turning into the person you used to complain about. This is one of the hardest transitions you'll ever make at work. The Center for Creative Leadership studied this and found that moving from individual contributor to manager is one of the toughest career changes there is. And here's why. It's not about the workload. It's about identity. It's about expectations. It's about relationships. You used to be one of us. Now you're one of them. And nobody hands you a manual for that shift. If they did, it was probably written by somebody who never actually managed a single human being. Gallup found something even more sobering. Companies pick the wrong person for management 82% of the time. Most of the time, they promote the best individual performer and never once check if that person can actually lead people. So you end up with what they call the accidental manager. You get the title, you get a small bump in pay, and you get zero guidance on how to do the job without torching every relationship you've built to get there. Then everyone acts shocked when it goes sideways. Here's what almost everybody does the moment that awkwardness sets in. They overcorrect hard in the same direction. They leave the door open all day. They answer Slack messages at 10 at night. They laugh off missed deadlines because they don't want to be seen as bossy. And they soften every piece of feedback until it means absolutely nothing. They call this being accessible. I call it the access trap. It feels right because you genuinely care about these people. You don't want to become that manager. You want them to know you're still you. But here's what actually happens. Your team gets confused because nobody knows which deadlines are real anymore. Your credibility erodes because you're setting standards you refuse to enforce. And the people you're trying to protect start quietly wondering if you even believe in your own authority. I read about a product manager named Katie. She was promoted to lead her own team, including her former desk neighbor, Luke. She was so worried about seeming different that she started every one-on-one with an apology. She'd give feedback, then immediately walk it back. When Luke missed a deadline twice, she covered for him instead of addressing it. She thought she was being kind. Her team thought she was scared. They were right. Access without authority just makes you a doormat with a title. Your team doesn't need another buddy who happens to sign time cards. They need someone who makes the boundaries clear, holds the line, and doesn't apologize for being in charge. Which brings us to the part that freaks people out. Authority does not mean what you think it means. Most people hear the word authority and picture some jerk in a corner office barking orders. That's not authority. That's insecurity wearing a tie. Real authority is just three things stacked together. That's clarity, consistency, and accountability. It means your team knows exactly where they stand, exactly what's expected, and that the standard applies to everyone, including you. Leadership researchers who study this exact transition all land in the same place. The moment you're promoted, people start watching you differently than before. Every word, every reaction, every message you send at 10 p.m. gets read for meaning now. And the relationship you had before this promotion is gone. Not damaged, but gone. Pretending otherwise doesn't protect anybody. It just makes everybody more uncomfortable, including you. I break this down in my work as authority versus access. Authority is the structural integrity of your leadership. Access is the warmth you bring to it. And you need both. But one of them has to lead, and it's not access. Gallup found that employees who trust their manager are 2.3 times more engaged. And trust doesn't come from being popular. It comes from being predictable. Let's run this through the 8th grade rule, because I want it to be dead simple. Your team knows what you expect. They know you'll follow through. And they know the rules don't change based on who's asking or what mood you're in that day. And that's the whole thing. And it's far more human than the fake nice act most new managers put on. So now that you know what goes wrong, let's talk about what actually works. 4 shifts change everything the moment you move from peer to leader. But they only work if you actually do them, not if you nod along and forget them by lunch. Shift 1 is boundaries. Most new managers think an open door policy proves they're a good leader. It actually proves they don't value their own time. Strategic unavailability is what makes you useful. Set response windows so people know when to expect an answer. Protect blocks of time for deep work. And stop answering Slack at 10 p.m. unless the building is literally on fire. And if that's the case, Slack isn't the appropriate communication channel anyway. When your time has value, your direction carries weight. Shift 2 is feedback. Stop apologizing for one-on-ones. Stop saying sorry to take up your time before you give someone guidance. And please, stop softening every critique into a compliment sandwich nobody asked for. And we covered this in episode 152. Being kind and being clear are not opposites. Try this instead. Look the person in the eye and say, I care about you, and I want you to succeed here. That's why I need to be direct. The last 2 deadlines were missed without communication, and that impacts the whole team. Moving forward, I need you to either hit the deadline or flag blockers early so we can problem solve together. That's not mean. That's respect. Shift 3 is language. This is where people trip over their own 2 feet. You need to kill the low status qualifiers. Stop saying, does that make sense, after every sentence, like you're asking permission to exist. Stop starting ideas with, I just think, or maybe we should try. You're the manager now. Say, here's the direction. Say, the deadline is Friday. Or say, I need you to handle it. Your words reveal whether you trust your own leadership. And your team picks up on that signal faster than you think. And shift 4 is conflict. Avoiding tough conversations does not protect your relationships. It poisons them. Silence creates ambiguity, and teams that fill ambiguity with assumptions almost always worse than what the truth is. The best managers handle small things early, before they become big things. They don't wait for the quarterly review to mention 3 missed deadlines. They handle it now, directly, with respect for the person in front of them. Prioritizing the mission over your own comfort is what separates leaders from people who just happen to have the title. The thread running through all 4 shifts is consistency. Your team doesn't need an inspiring speech every morning. They need someone clear, steady, and reliable. Because predictability builds trust faster than charisma ever will. And knowing the 4 shifts isn't enough. You have to actually start the conversation. Sit down with your team and say this directly. We've worked together closely, and that won't change. What will shift is that I'm now responsible for supporting the team's goals and performance. My commitment is to be fair, transparent, and direct. That's it. No slide deck required. It just takes the courage to name the thing everyone's already thinking. From there, set what I call a how we work agreement. Get clear on how decisions get made, how you'll communicate, and how you'll handle it when things go wrong. Then pick 1 shift to practice it this week. Start with language if that feels easiest. Or start with boundaries if that's where you're leaking the most time. You don't need to nail all 4 by Tuesday. You just need to start somewhere and stay consistent. So here's your challenge this week. Your former peers don't need a friend wearing a manager's badge. They need a manager who respects them enough to be honest. Pick 1 shift. Boundaries, feedback, language, or conflict. And practice it in 1 real conversation before the week is out. That single choice is how you build authority that actually holds. That's all for today. Remember, we're looking for progress, not perfection. Be sure to visit speakingwithconfidencepodcast.com to get your free ebook, The Top 21 Challenges for Public Speakers and How to Overcome Them. You can also register for the Formula for Public Speaking course. Always remember, your voice has the power to change the world. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.